Test our resolve at your own peril and doom. Yes, that's Pakistan's Defence Minister Khawaja Asif not mincing his words this morning. He basically told the Taliban regime in Kabul, "We don't even need our full arsenal to obliterate you and push you back to the caves." So, what exactly pushed Islamabad to this point? Let's unpack what really happened behind those closed doors in Istanbul and what comes next. For months, Pakistan's been accusing Afghanistan's Taliban-led government of letting the TTP use Afghan soil to plan and launch attacks across the border. After a series of deadly clashes in October, both sides agreed to sit down in Istanbul, with Qatar and Turkey mediating. The goal? Simply put on paper to stop cross-border attacks, build trust, and find a way to actually implement a ceasefire. Now, anyone who's been following this relationship knows that it was always going to be complicated. But no one thought that it would get this tense. Islamabad, Doha, and Istanbul had worked tirelessly for an agreement with the Taliban. Negotiators and facilitators kept their hopes high, but much to their dismay, no breakthrough. Pakistan's team came loaded with intelligence. We're talking time-stamped videos, maps, movement logs, all showing militant activity across the border. They wanted Kabul to sign a clear written commitment that no group can use Afghan territory to attack Pakistan. But here's what happened instead. The Afghan delegation stalled, sidestepped, and eventually walked back on commitments. Officials say they backed out not once, not twice, but 3 times after consulting Kabul. Even the mediators from Qatar and Turkey, who've seen their fair share of negotiations, were reportedly taken aback. One diplomat even said, "May Allah help and forgive these people." That's how frustrating it got. The Afghan side claimed groups like the TTP and BLA weren't under their control, something Pakistan strongly disputes. And then Khawaja Asif dropped his tweet, and it was a bombshell. He said Pakistan only agreed to talks because brotherly countries, meaning Qatar and Turkey, requested them to give peace one more chance. Then he accused the Taliban regime of having a devious and splintered mindset, of running a war economy that feeds off chaos, and of blindly pushing Afghanistan into yet another conflict. He even said, quote, "If they want a repeat of Tora Bora, that would be quite a spectacle for the region." Now, this is a full-blown warning, and for the Pakistani Defence Minister to say it publicly, that's meant to send a signal, not just to Kabul, but to everyone watching in the region. So why did all of this collapse so badly? There are a few layers here, and Al Jazeera breaks them down pretty clearly. First, Pakistan wants concrete action against the TTP and BLA. No ambiguity, no excuses. Second, the Afghan side keeps saying we don't control the TTP, which, let's be honest, sounds quite absurd. The TTP literally pledges allegiance to the Afghan Taliban, and there are camps, videos, and safe houses right across the border. Third, internal divisions inside the Afghan delegation. One group agrees, another pulls back, it's chaos. And fourth, the Afghan side started asking for guarantees from Pakistan. Don't violate Afghan airspace, don't allow third-party strikes, and so on. Basically, they came with a counter list instead of answers. So while Pakistan's saying, "Let's stop militants," Afghanistan's saying, "Let's talk about airspace." You can imagine how that went. Then there's also a big picture angle here, which is geopolitics. While these talks were happening, Kabul's been quietly warming up to India. Trade discussions, security coordination, even some talk about development projects. And for Islamabad, that's not a coincidence. You're refusing to deal with militants attacking Pakistan while cozying up with its biggest rival? But here's the scary part. Things are on a knife's edge. Analysts say that the ceasefire technically still exists, but no one actually believes that it'll hold. Any new attack on Pakistani soil, especially one tied to militants based in Afghanistan, could trigger military action. And Pakistan's leadership is making that crystal clear. At the end of the day, Khawaja Asif's tweet wasn't just a rant, it was a warning. It tells us that Pakistan's done waiting for promises. But here's the question. Is that resolve going to bring results, or drag both countries back into the same old cycle of blame, strikes, and broken peace deals? Either way, what just happened in Istanbul wasn't the end of the story. It was the start of something much bigger. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit like, follow, and stay tuned because this story is far from over.